Gemini. I'm Anisha. To know more about my work, you may visit my website www.TarotbyAnisha.com. For those of you who are seeking deeper clarity, be it in your love lives or your career, for a personal consultation, you may write to me at tarotbyanisha@gmail.com. Wishing you a lovely and a fantastic happy birthday, Geminians. Welcome to your forecast of May 2018. It's quite a phenomenal month and for all the zodiac signs, Geminians, because we have the unpredictable, chaotic, the wild boy of astrology, Uranus, that is finally going to be moving signs after 7 years. Yes, it's moving from Aries to Taurus, where it is going to be resting for the next 7 years. And for you, it is going to be there in your house of behind the scenes, spirituality. It's a house of serving. This is also the house where we go and unplug and recharge our emotional batteries. Now, Geminians, it's quite a fascinating aspect, this entire Uranus shift, because Uranus is a planet of rebellion. It's also working very closely with Saturn, and Saturn is all about structure, restrictions, conformity, and Uranus is all about free flowing. It's about unpredictability, it's about volatility, but it's also about humanitarian. It's about being inspired. In fact, the internet is ruled by the Uranian energy. So the next 7 years are going to be seeing a conflict of people really breaking through the structures, not wanting to get confined by the society, the rules that it has put. Whether it is to control people, whether it is to make people think in such way that is the societal rules in whichever country, however they may apply. But with the Uranian, for the next 7 years, it's a time where we'll see globally a lot of people standing up, a lot of bodies, groups, people standing up for what is really right, what is it that really needs to be done, or in which direction. I think the basic humanity, humane, what is it that really makes us humane? All this change is going to be, whether we can call it chaos, but without chaos there can be no change. And I think a change is really, really required in various parts of our life, and a change is always wonderful. Let me break down the month for you, Geminians. We're beginning the month with Pluto and Mars, and they are there in a part of your chart that is all about joint finances, resources, sexuality, and this is also the house of transformation. And Pluto and Mars are Pluto is going to be digging up everything that is there in your psyche, deep wherein that you are, maybe fears that are suppressed, fears that you've not been looking at. Maybe you don't want to deal with something which really happened a long time back, but this is a time where you are being encouraged to heal. And Pluto, of course, tends to go really under the surface, dig everything out over there. And it's a space and time where you need to be facing your fears and surrendering to them, Geminians. It's not a time, I think, at times we get used to living in fear, and it can be years and years. You think about fear and you get so, the degree of it may of course lessen. You may feel that, it's not so bad. The palpitations and the anxiety attacks, that's lesser now. But the truth also is that it never really goes if it's not being dealt with. So it's really a time where you don't fight with it, whatever it may be. And it's a time really that you surrender to it and you look at it for what it is. On the 14th, we have Mercury, and thankfully Mercury has been direct now. And Mercury is moving into your house of behind the scenes. It's a house of your spirituality, where of course Uranus also is moving for you. And it's a time of reflection. It's a time of being with the nature, being with yourself, journaling, introspecting, just thinking, just being quiet. Just take this time off, Geminians. On the 15th, we have a new moon that is there, and along with it, on the 16th, we have Uranus, and they're all having a nice, lovely party in your house of behind the scenes. And this house is really important for you for the next 7 years, especially with Uranus being over there, because it's like a reawakening. It's going to be asking you, what is it that is really important to you, Geminis? I mean, it's good to be leading a certain life. It's good to be hypocritical to a certain extent, that, oh, my friends, view me in a certain way, or I have to be keeping up with the Jones, and I need to be behaving or owning an XYZ. But what is it that really affects us at a deeper level? I mean, who really reaches out to you when you're alone? Who is it that really understands you? Where are those friends? Who are those people? And how it is that you treat them? Or how often is it that you even reach out to them? Or, is it just about, I think we get so used to making excuses beyond a time that even we are convinced of our own excuses. So with this entire Uranian, Mercury, and the new moon over there in this house of self-reflection, it's really a time where it's asking you to to let go of your own stories, Geminians. It's okay, we tell stories to convince other people and to get out of sticky situations, but maybe it's time that you need to stop telling yourself stories, because somewhere you have started believing them quite quite intensely. And this is a time where you need to be unraveling, you need to be sifting the wheat from the chaff. On the 17th, we have Mars that is moving into your house of expansion of the mind, spirituality. And this is also a time where some of you could be traveling, doing a long distance travel. Some of you could be learning, doing a course from maybe a different country. Some of you could be meeting people from different cultures, ethnicities. You could just be learning more about, you could be expanding your mind, you could be getting more spiritual. And it is also a time where it's a huge focus again to be increasing your knowledge, to be studying more, even publishing. It's a wonderful time to be doing all these things. On the 20th, we have Venus that moves into your house of money, and it's a wonderful placement. Venus is also all about money, and it's a great time to be earning money. Maybe you land a new project. Maybe for some of you, you get a little bonus. There's a little small promotion, and in most cases, it could mean maybe a new job, maybe something else that comes by, and it has good money in it. On the 21st, we have Sun that moves into your own house, and it's all about you, Geminians. It's about you're going to be either taking another look at yourself, how your wardrobe, restyling yourself. You could just be presenting yourself differently to people. You could be getting more conscious about how it is that people perceive you. And it's an entire energy is self-focused during this time. We're closing the month with a full moon that is there in your house of partnerships, and this speaks both about your marriage as well as your business partnerships. And it's a time to be reinventing yourself, Geminians. This full moon it speaks about closing all patterns. It speaks about letting go of patterns that are no longer serving you. It speaks about letting go of things, of maybe habits, behaviors, certain relationships, or maybe, I think in partnerships, both whether it's marriage or it's professional, after a period of time, there's a kind of a tiredness almost that comes into it, that you just take it for granted and you say, okay, that's all right, it's just a spell. And at times, because we choose not to do anything about that spell just carries on. So it's a time to be putting an end to, maybe it's a certain way that you speak with your partner, maybe there's a certain casualness or just taken for granted that you do, and that's a time to be really changing it. It's a good time to be looking at yourself, and it's a good time to be making those changes so that it makes your relationships more enriched, that you are able to get more happiness and more joy out of them. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Geminians. I'll see you again soon. And thank you so much for watching.